What's up, y'all? Today we'll be exploring the question of, does reality transurfing work? Can we really shift into different realities? As an overview of what we'll be discussing today, we'll be going over a little background on how I discovered the book and topic. We'll do a little high-level overview of what reality transurfing is for those of you that are new to the topic. And we'll finish it off with my personal experience of practicing reality transurfing for the past 1.5 years. And I'll be sharing 3 big takeaways that hopefully you can all use to either slowly make small changes towards your best life, either pick up the book, or just get interested in the subject as much as I do. Let's get to it. In regards to how I discovered reality transurfing, I was following a successful entrepreneur on YouTube named Iman Gadzhi. And out of all the hundreds and hundreds of books that he's read, he said that this is one of the most powerful books that he's read. And other YouTubers in the reality creation manifestation space, such as Doughty and Quazi Johir, all point to this one book that reality transurfing has completely shifted their realities. Overall, it has really just changed the way how I view the world works, but also how I choose to live in it. So as a high-level overview of what reality transurfing is, it's a reality creation system that is designed for you to be aware that you have the ability to choose your best life at any given time, essentially living your best life and shifting to a reality that's the best. And the basics of reality transurfing consists of that we live in a reality where anything is possible, called the alternative space. And within this alternative space, there's variations, infinite variations of your 10 out of 10 best life and also your worst life. So things that they talk about in the book, there's things to watch out for, dangers, and there's things that you should be on the lookout for that are positive. So the dangerous things are pendulums, excess importance, inner intention. You don't need to know the exact definition of these yet, but they're just things that bring you down towards closer to 0 out of 10. And there's gonna be positive things to watch out for, such as the wave of fortune, heart and mind coordination, right? Frailing, things that will get you closer to your best 10 out of 10 life. But essentially, the ability to shift your reality is determined by your power of choosing what thoughts we want to have, choosing what we want, and choosing the actions that we want to take towards our best lives. The author just wants to hammer in that the freedom to choose is our birthright. I personally think that at the end of the day, it's a mental shift of us changing our thoughts and beliefs so that we take more intentional action on a day-to-day basis. Like we're actually just doing what we say we're gonna do. In regards to personal experience, there are too many times when I felt, wow, reality transurfing is really working or really explaining life really well. But I wanted to narrow it down to 3 takeaways, and starting with number 1, awareness of the freedom to choose what I really want and to live more intentionally. By reading Reality Transurfing, there's a principle called listening to the rustle of the morning stars. Essentially, listening to what your heart is really saying, what it really wants in this one life that we can really live, really listening to that intuition. And in life, right, we're going to be seeing a lot of and hearing of what we should have, right? We should get married. We should go to college. We should get married. We should have kids, but also maybe we should grind. We should hustle. We should do entrepreneurship. We should be a digital nomad, travel, work, do all these kind of things. And they are good stuff, and I do believe in some of them, but what's truly right for you yourself? And I think that's the thing that's hard to determine when there's a lot of noise, right? It's almost as if, when you're going out to go like, where should we eat? And the guy says like, we should do Korean barbecue. And the guy keeps saying Korean barbecue, Korean barbecue, Korean barbecue. And then everyone says, yeah, maybe Korean barbecue is not bad. And then you keep on hearing it and you end up just going, all right, I guess we're going to Korean barbecue. But maybe you wanted some salad. You wanted to be healthy. Yeah, so that's kind of what I got from it, is when we are able to clear all this noise from our minds, how and what, not how, but what do I really want? And these pendulum thought structures right? As in the Reality Transurfing explains, is that it will capture your thoughts, and you can only think in one way, and you think that this is the only way possible. Obviously, think about it as almost like the Matrix. I gave you the KBBQ example, but think about it in the Matrix where, hey, this is just one reality you live in, right? It's a whole matrix, but it's actually not really the real world. But how it has affected my life is it made me question, what is my 10 out of 10 life? And Reality Transurfing talks about that with the great question, what would make my life feel like a celebration every single day? And I knew for a fact it wasn't tech sales. No matter that it was a new career for me, I knew in my heart that this is not the long-term game plan, right? It's good money, good skill sets, good commodity, but my mind was saying yes, but my heart was saying no. And my answer was actually, I would love to live back in Taipei again. I lived there from 2019 to 2021, and I fell in love there where I was learning Mandarin. I lived a simple life, and I got to explore the beginning roots of my entrepreneurship journey, of exploring personal development coaching and content creation. And I really just wanted to, I felt it would be great to be location independent, have time freedom, and just to be able to be anywhere in the world that I would want to be. But I felt it was realistic. I had to get realistic at the time. And I went back to America in 2021, where I started my tech sales career. And actually it started in April, but it just wasn't it. But I knew I had to re-up on the coins, the money, build up the FU money, build up the skill sets. But the book came perfectly in timing, because while I was listening to Reality Transurfing, I went on a trip to Chihuahua, Mexico with some of my buddies, and I came across one of my fraternity bros who introduced me to the digital nomad life. He told me that he was feeling frustrated living in LA, didn't really like it anymore, went to a nomad conference, ended up learning some skills to a nomad summit in Vegas, ended up going to Colombia, ended up, this was the perfect fit for him. And he gave me an example perfectly to this book of Reality Transurfing, that, wow, that there could be a whole nother way of living. And he inspired me to go, okay, well, I work remotely in tech sales. Well, okay, I'm going to make sure I hit the next few quota for the next quarter so that I can earn the right to be wherever I want and, try different lifestyles. And that led me to, in July of 2023, I had a friend's wedding in Puerto Rico. And it was a perfect timing, because I was like, okay, that'd be great. I'll just continue living there. And while I went there, I set the intention that I did also want to level up my content creation game, and that I wanted to be more intentional in my skill development. And it was just a perfect timing, because I was just able to zone, I was able to focus. And personally, on the outside, it wasn't, great gains of subscribers, reviews, but internally I felt I really did grow as a creator. And also that, I met a lot of entrepreneurs, and I met actually a successful YouTube content creator that really inspired me to, just to keep growing and do it for the love of the game, and not really having to focus on all the dark sides of YouTube. But while I was out in Puerto Rico as well, I thought of, wouldn't it be nice if I could be in Indonesia to be with my aging grandmothers and my family members that I haven't seen for 10 years? And, I just said, like, dang, yeah, I need to make this possible. And this is why I'm working on this, on my side hustle, so I can do this. But it's happened to have the opportunity to, at work, of an opportunity to work in Australia and New Zealand, remotely, obviously, but I immediately raised my hand because I knew it'd be in the same time zone as Asia. So, I raised my hand, I got the opportunity, and I was actually able to, after working and grinding it through it out, after coming back to America, in March of 2023, to able to go to Indonesia to see my aging grandmothers and my extended family. And I decided then and there, right, because I was working the Australian New Zealand territory, I was only 3 hours behind, that this was the right place for me to be. And I actually wanted to be here for 3 months. And I knew that was a risk, because I'm not in my zone, and I have a lot of family activities. And at one point though, I decided that family was more important. And it came because my grandmother said to me, hey, you should go focus on work. You should focus on work. I know it's important to you, but I know she only said that because I had this energy of, oh my God, work is so important. Oh my God, I need to hit quota. I need to hit quota. But in that moment changed me when I said, Grandma, I'm here for you, right? I'm here for you, not for work. I mean, like work is important, but I'm here to see you. It's like work is always going to be there, but I don't know how much time I'm going to have with you. I want to be here with you. And I accepted that risk. And, I had the most beautiful quarter with my family, but lo and behold, by the end of the quarter, I didn't hit quota. I got cut. And, I took that as a sign from the universe that, hey, it is what it is. And this is actually me going to where the universe wants to take me. And it actually took me back here to Taiwan, where I've been here for the past almost 3 months and just been focusing on doing me, learning more about personal development, thinking about how I can get better at content creation, how I can, really build up this business. But it's really giving me this runway of, hey, the principles of reality transurfing says that there's heart and mind coordination. Here is the opportunity to pursue it full time for the next 1 to 2 years. So you're actually catching me right now in the time space where I'm actually part of my reality transurfing journey. Hopefully in 2 to 3 years, I'll update you. It's like, oh my God, heart and mind coordination truly works. But that's kind of where I'm at, and I brought you up to speed to where I'm at. But that kind of takes me, before we transition out, I do want to say, overall, reality transurfing through this principle has really led me to lead my life with more intention and a greater sense of peace. So some actionable tips for you all, I really want to ask you if, what do you all really want? Truly, really want? If society didn't tell you what you should want, if your family didn't tell you what you want, if your spouse or partner didn't tell you what you want, what do you truly want out of life? What would make your life a celebration every single day? What would be that 10 out of 10 life, right? And you might not get the answer right away, but it's a question worth asking and thinking about. And some other tips is to really get out of your comfort zone, meeting new people, traveling, living in new places, reading books to get new models of realities to really stretch that mind of what's possible. Takeaway number 2, the awareness to flow with the events of life. Reality transurfing has taught me to go with the alternatives flow, which is pretty much just flowing with whatever life is giving you. Whether good, let's just flow with it. If it's bad, instead of trying to hold on to it, let's just keep on flowing with it. And I really needed to learn this principle because I was in this mode of, I want to control everything, right? I need to control my schedule. I need to control my time. I need to do everything. I just want to control. And it wasn't just a great way to live because it caused a lot of tension in my personal relationships, with my family. And there was just this sense of, sometimes it is necessary to do that, but at the same time, I needed to go back to the other side of just flow with it, Darren. And this is no excuse in general to not plan, to not be organized, to not be thoughtful, but more so it was a learning experience for me. Hey, plan, but be okay if things don't go according to plan, right? Be organized, but be okay if things end up not being organized, right? Do your best to be thoughtful, but be okay if things don't work out. And, as this definitely relates to reframing negative experiences I experienced in life, right? Going to the flow of not just my day-to-day life, but when big negative events happen, perceived negative events happen, such as a breakup with my ex-girlfriend, right? It's like, oh my God, this is so bad. But you know what? By learning about reality transurfing, it still hurt. It's like, how do I keep on flowing with this, right? And even with work, oh my God, I got cut, but it's like, no, how is this the best thing in the world? And how can I flow with this? And it actually all eventually led to great things, right? Like me being back here in actually Taipei, Taiwan, I actually realized through the principles of which I'll explain in tip number 3 though, is right, that there needs to be harmony and balance with the universe of this world that we live in. I actually met up with my ex, and I call her my friend now, is that, there was things that I did that stepped on her soul, a little bit just from the things I said. I didn't do it consciously. And, this led to the co-creation of experience of this breakup. But it was very necessary for me to learn and grow as an individual of like, oh my God, I was doing so many wrong things. I was like forcing her to be someone that she was not. And that was like a terrible thing. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm so glad like that, I got a slap in the face that I had to go through this experience to really learn about this, that this might actually help me actually be accepting of my future wife, or even just more accepting to my family and friends. But yeah, it was a good way of really flowing with how things end up in life. And as I mentioned before, from the work perspective, not doing tech sales anymore, this actually flowed me back here to Taipei as well to even have that conversation, but also to actually be here today and doing what I am doing here in front of you all today. But yeah, so like just actionable tips for you all is if things don't go as planned, let it be okay, right? Go flow with it. It's okay to be frustrated, but at some point you need to pivot and let go of that. It's like, how can this be the best thing in the world for me? Maybe not right away, but what are the lessons that I need to learn from this so that I don't make that mistake in the future? And with that, we can keep on moving forward. Takeaway number 3, awareness of creating healthier relationship dynamics. Letting people just be who they want to be. This is one of the biggest lessons that I learned from Reality Transurfing, that everyone has the right to be themselves. Allow other people to truly just let them be them. And as I mentioned in my previous example, I had to learn the hard way through my previous relationship that, hey, just because I have my own thoughts and way of model of reality does not mean that everyone should have the same reality that I see. And it made me think about, oh my gosh, I was pushing this on a lot of my friends and family as well. And I created this unnecessary pressure on them. But in reality, it's okay. I'm actually pretty happy that they live their own lives. I live my own life. And if people want to, share some parts of my model of realities, great. I'm willing to share that. But if they're not, it's not their cup of tea. Like with some of my family, that's okay as well. And it has really just reduced a lot of pressure and unnecessary tension and created much greater peace everywhere I go. And if things don't go that I want to, and then we have different viewpoints, I go, you know what? It's okay. That's what you think, and that's okay. So that's just has helped me interact from a day-to-day perspective, but also capitalize on other opportunities as well, right? There's a concept of frailing in Reality Transurfing where you really think just like Stephen Covey in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, of thinking win-win. Don't be so focused on what you want, but think about what are win-win scenarios where everybody wins. And part of how everybody wins, sometimes it's no deal, right? Both parties don't need to actually have to make the transaction. Maybe it's better off that no one does anything so that we are not off. So always giving the other person a way out of just like, hey, maybe this is not the best fit. And that has really just shaped in all my interactions. I always try to think, how can both parties win? But also thinking about, it's okay if this doesn't even happen. I just want things to be great and in harmony. Some actionable tips for you all is if you are, in any situation with family or friends and there's tension, just think about, am I letting them be them? Are they letting me be me? And you make that decision whether it's best or not to continue the relationship. But also in things that you are trying to get out of life with other people. Is this a win-win situation where both parties are better off? Or is it better that we do a no deal and that it's okay if we just part our ways and nothing happens? So, does reality transurfing work? Can you really shift into different realities? I personally think yes, you can. It's not the end all be all, but it's a very powerful framework for you to operate your life from. And I'm still on the very beginning of my journey. I mean, I've got some early little wins, but I still feel like there's still so much more to learn about this world of reality transurfing. But I do want to highlight for all those that are interested in this, that shifting realities begins primarily in the mind, right? It's a mental shift. Pretty much a paradigm shift of how you view the world. And once you make this mental shift, you'll start to make physical shifts, you'll start to make emotional shifts, and eventually, you'll start making spiritual shifts, which I've been feeling a lot lately. And at the end of the day, this is a whole complex of so much different changes, but I do want to remind that there's still little ways that you and we and all of us could take small actions towards our best lives every single day. And how I like to think about it is that, personal development comes in two different ways, where there's the personal development side of just practical books like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Atomic Habits, Awaken the Giant Within. But there's this whole other second half of the personal development world where it's more spiritual and of your growth journey, that, whether it's reading the Tao Te Ching, reading Reality Transurfing, reading the Bible, reading all these principles of this spirituality that really helps move your life forward as well, that I'm still in the very beginnings of learning. But I believe that's where I want to take the direction of my channel. I want to combine, the practical personal development side of books that I have come to love and has really helped me in my life. But I also want to explore all these spirituality and, metaphysical quantum physics, topic, and hopefully be able to combine the two so that we can all together live our best lives sooner than later. But if you guys are still here and have listened to my journey, really appreciate you all listening. I really wish you all the best in your personal development, reality transurfing, and just journey in life in general. And hopefully to hear from you all soon, either in the comments down below or another time. But sending you all much love. Until next time, peace.